Hi, this is Andres from Aulas Neo, and I talk about education and technology. Today I will speak about platform delivery models, especially for LMSs, but it works for any kind of software that you want to use. So what is exactly delivery model? What do I mean with that? I mean, how do you get a software that you need to do something to be up and running and ready to be used by you and all the people in your organization. So the first big options are SaaS, I mean software as a service, and self-hosted. Self-hosted first means that you as a client will have to set up the infrastructure, install the software, maintain it and operate it. You will have to take care of all the activities that need to be done and all the costs that it implies. SaaS or software as a service means the opposite. You will pay a periodic fee, usually monthly or annual fee, to a service provider, and they will take care of everything. They will create, install and operate the infrastructure, they will install, operate and maintain the software, they will take care of the upgrades and every activity that is needed to have the system up and running. We need to understand that self-hosted is the most expensive and complicated way of delivering a piece of software. So, in that case, why would anybody go in that direction? Well, it is suitable only for institutions that need to have full control of all the applications and all the data. Okay? And there are some special cases, for example, governments that have very strict regulations about data and about privacy and about security and applications, or very specific use cases. For the self-hosted option, there are also two options. It can be done on-premises or in a private cloud. Nowadays, it is very uncommon that a company or an organization builds a data center to host their applications. Data centers are very expensive, are very complicated to maintain and to keep up to date. So usually the best option now is to go to a private cloud directly. You can find private data centers only in specific industries, like very complex factories, specific industries, or in banks, or in government, where they have very strict regulations to fill, or very strict processes. Even in those cases, they use their data center for their core applications, and usually, okay, with the exception of educational institutions, an LMS or any software used for training is not part of the core application. So even in those cases, it would be a better option to go to the private cloud and not to put an LMS in a data center living together with the corporate applications. Okay, so for big universities, the LMS might be one of the core applications, that's true. And if they have a data center, okay, installing the LMS in the data center can be one option also. But please consider, if you're going to do that in that direction can even block innovation, for example. Why? Imagine that you want to connect your LMS to investigate a new plugin that uses artificial intelligence, okay? But to run that, you need to increase the CPU and the memory and storage of your servers. And probably you will have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy new CPUs and additional memory and additional servers just to implement an AI plugin that you are experimenting. Even if you get the go-ahead to do that expenditure, it might take months until you get all the approvals, get the money, get the provider, deliver, and have all the capacity installed in your data center. While on the other side, if you have a private cloud, adding more capacity or creating new virtual machines with whatever capacity you need and the number that you ever want, you can do it in seconds, and once you end with your experiment, you shut them down, no more costs. So it's faster, it's easier, and it's less expensive. Many companies are moving their workloads to the cloud, if not all of them, at least part. And LMS can work perfectly well in the cloud. In on-premise data centers, you have a lot of additional costs, you have overhead, you need people to operate, to maintain, you need facilities. So going to the cloud is probably the best option in most of the use cases when you want to self-host your LMS. Anyway, whether it is self-hosted or on a private cloud, this is infrastructure. Basically, server compute, memory, storage, and that's it. Yet you have to install the platform and all the software that you need to run the platform. To do that, again, you have two options. You can do it yourself, or maybe not you in person, but the team that you manage, or to hire a subcontractor, a company that does it for you. Remember that LMSs are complex systems. They involve many components, and please don't be fooled by some systems that are very easy to install and to set up. Okay, maybe you can set up very easily. That can be actually a trap, because you find it too easy to set up, and then you start loading content, then you continue onboarding students, and when everything is up and running, then you start getting server errors, blank screens, excessive slow applications, and that's because it was easy to install, but to set up a production environment that can escalate to support all the demand is something different. If you plan to do it in-house, remember that the learning curve is very steep. So this means longer times to implement, higher costs, and higher risks to have problems that you oversee in the production. On the other side, you can rely on a specialized service provider to do the work for you. If you can build a long-term relationship, you will benefit from their experience, their knowledge. You will get results faster and with less cost, less friction, and less problems in the future. Just calculate the labor cost of your team that will be dedicated to the LMS. Multiply by the time it takes to set it up, and compare it with the quotation that you receive from a specialized service provider. Only one thing, please make sure that you contract specialized service providers. LMSs are complex systems. Sometimes they may look like, but they are not definitely a web page. They are not as simple as to operate as a WordPress or any other CMS. LMSs are very complex, are specific, have very specific settings that you have to tune to accommodate the functionality to the use cases that you have. So make sure that you only contract official suppliers of professional services. So this is mostly all about self-hosted. Now going back to SaaS, software as a service, even if you go that way, ask your provider which cloud provider they use, which platform they use, and how do they operate and maintain. Make sure that their choices fit your needs in terms of escalation, of robustness, and performance that you need for your service. Okay, to summarize, SaaS, software as a service, is the fastest, easiest, and less expensive delivery model for your platform, as you will delegate everything to your provider and pay as you go. But if you need full control of your data and application, you can go self-hosted. In that case, you can go in a very rare cases on-premise with your own data center if you have one and can afford it, or on a private cloud, which is probably the best option today. And in either of these options, to install the platform and set it up and make it work, you can do it yourself if you have a big team and you have time and money to train the people to do the work, or you can rely on a service provider to do everything for you. Just remember to choose only official service providers with enough experience and background on the LMS. So that's all. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.